Hey guys, welcome back to the AWS Cloud Demos. My name is Murli, and in today's demo, we will talk about how to automatically build the CI/CD pipelines and ECS clusters for your microservices using AWS CDK. Okay, so this best practice. You can use it to automatically create a continuous CI/CD pipelines and underlying infrastructure for building and deploying microservices on AWS on ECS Elastic Container Service. So you can use this approach if you want to set up proof of concept or something like that for on the CI/CD pipelines to show your organization the benefits of CI/CD, microservices, DevOps, and stuff like that. So you can also use this approach to create initial CI/CD pipelines, and then you can customize it if you want, right? And then we will be using two different environments, like you see here. One is VPC production, another one is VPC non-production. And also an ECS cluster you can see here, which is we are using AWS Fargate here, and we are having the services, and we are also using application load balancer, which will be running inside our non-production VPCs and production VPCs. Okay, so the idea here is basically we will have a demo project like you see here. So this is the demo project where this is a Node.js application where we have an application where this is going to return my the message hello AWS Cloud Demos. This is an API endpoint, and I have my Docker file which is already having which is having the Docker configuration already. So that simple API, we are going to deploy it in these AWS clusters. Okay, so you can modify this my service one. This is just for the demo purpose, but you can use your application where you have the Docker file and deploy your application into the AWS the production or non-production VPCs. Okay, so it's up to you which language you want to use, Python, Java, .NET, or whatever, but this is a basic configuration where you can use this setup and you can replace the my service with your application, so which is pretty easy. All right, and then this demo is useful for DevOps people who are working in DevOps, and for the cloud architects. And yeah, I hope you're going to like it, and I hope you will be using this architecture in your organization. And then let's move on. So what are the prerequisites that you want? So you basically need an AWS account, which we have already, I've already logged into my account. So make sure you log into your account, and then also make sure you have S3 bucket. For example, I have uploaded my starter code something. I've got my S3 bucket. Let me open a new tab. And here I have CICD starter. So this is my bucket. So you can see I have the code already. So the starter code is nothing but the code that I'm showing here, which is microservice, my service one. All right, and then make sure you download the code. This is the GitHub URL. I'm gonna post this link in the description box below, and make sure you copy this link. You check out the project and get the starter code from here, and make sure you can experiment with your own stuff. Okay, so just fork this project, and if you want, and don't forget to follow me on GitHub and also on LinkedIn if you want. I'm gonna put those links in the description box below. And now let's go back to the architecture. So basically, I hope you understand the architecture here. It's simply our starter code here, the AWS code commit repository. So we just commit the code, and then that kicks off the code pipeline, and that will trigger the code build, and then that's going to deploy into my non-production. And I'm going to push my image into the ECR, and the image is going to be used in the ECS Fargate. And in the non-production, and of course, if you want to deploy this application into a production environment, you need to have your release manager approve. So basically, you have a release manager here who is going to approve the application, and that is going to be deployed into the production. Okay. All right. So I hope you got an idea on that, and let's move on. So also make sure you have the CDK installed, AWS CDK, and make sure you have version 2, because you might have conflicts with version 1. So make sure you have version 2, and then also make sure you have Python installed. So basically the code is written in Python here. So the CDK pipeline. So if you expand the CDK pipeline, so you can see all, I'm going to explain this in a bit. So basically you have all the Python code here, which is going to create our VPC environment. We have our CloudFormation stack. We have our ECS tasks, and also we have our build spec YAML file, and that's going to create the code repository. And so basically we are going to deploy this application into our code pipeline, right? Code commit, sorry. So yeah, then, and also make sure you have the familiarity with the AWS CDK, because without the familiarity you won't understand this a bit. So make sure you understand you understand the code and before you make any change. Okay, this is as simple as creating VPCs, creating our infrastructure, load balancer, our IAM permission roles, and build specs YAML file. Okay, so also make sure you have a bit of familiarity with Docker as well. So this is a bit of advanced architecture which will help you build microservices in real time. Okay, so and also you must understand the CI/CD and DevOps before moving on to the demo. Okay, so all right, so what we are going to do now is, so basically we will set up the environment. Okay, so I've already set up my environment here, so I'm going to just walk you through the steps. So make sure you have the code downloaded from here, like I've shown you in my GitHub. Just download the code and make sure you check out the project. And now let's go into the let's set up the Python environment. Okay, so what do I do with the Python environment? So which is Python 3. We have minus m. We are going to create a virtual environment. All right, so that's going to create my virtual environment, and then ignore this warning on my console, because this is, I've messed up my console. That's I need to deal with it separately, so just ignore that for a moment. All right, so once you have set up your Python virtual environment, so what you can do is you need to activate your virtual environment. So how are you going to do it? So it's as simple as running this. So basically where I am having this activate file, if you go to ls, so you, oh, so if you do LH, you can see the hidden file. So you can see our virtual environment is already created. So let's go ahead and try to run. Oops. Okay, let's activate it. So you can see now it's activated. Just clear the screen. So I hope it's clear and visible. Um, okay, so also make sure you set up your AWS access ID, AWS secret access key, and default region. Okay, so if you haven't done so, make sure you do AWS configure. But in my case, I've already done it, so I'm not going to do in this moment. So I'm just going to clear it out, and also make sure you have your make sure if you haven't set up this, make sure you also have the variables available. So you can in Mac you can set something like, like this, where you will be setting your access key ID, and then also export AWS secret access key, and make sure you set up the secret access key as well. Okay, so I've already done it in my case, so I'm not going to do this step. Make sure you have these access keys and secret keys available to run this demo. All right, okay, moving on. So once you have set up all that stuff, so I'm going to go to my CD VPC specs. Okay, VPC ECS. All right, so I'm in the VPC ECS directory. So you can see what we have. This inside is nothing but we are going to have our production and non-production ECS clusters, you can see, and also we have our VPCs, production and non-production VPCs. The names are here, so you can see the names: CI/CD, ECS, non-prod, and prod. All right, and then so once you have your setup, so let's go to the terminal again. So I'm gonna run. So we already have the requirements.txt file where we need to install these software. So you can see AWS CDK core, CDK, ECS, EC2. Now let me install. Now let me do pip3 install requirements.txt. So once you have installed the CDK core, CDK library, then you will do a CDK bootstrap, so that you will bootstrap your CDK application, and then we will also synthesize our CloudFormation template for the for this architecture. Okay, so we already have the code. Okay, so now that it is installed, all my required AWS CDK lib, so just clear it out and then try to run CDK bootstrap. Okay, You might encounter some errors here, because if you first error you might encounter here is if you don't configure your AWS credentials. The second error you might encounter is this AWS CDK version 1 is not supported anymore. So this is something that that warning I'm continuously getting, but I have no problem in running this demo. Make sure you have CDK version 2. In my case, I already have CDK version 2.1.42, but I don't know why this error is still coming. So you can just ignore that for a moment if you are getting it, or if you are really stuck, just post a comment in the comment section below so that I can have a look. Okay, so now that we have bootstrapped our application, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run CDK synth command, which will synthesize and create a CloudFormation template. So let me just create that. Got some error. Oh no, I think my CloudFormation template has been created here, as you can see. So it is creating my VPC. The CIDR block is this one, and also it is creating a subnets. So if you go through these, you will be able to understand what's going on in the CloudFormation template. All right. Okay. So now that we have we ran our synth command, so what I'm going to do is simply run cdk deploy. Okay, so let's go to deployment. Okay, so let's deploy the stack in our CloudFormation. So make sure you have logged in and also access your CloudFormation. Open a new tab. So we will see this is our CI/CD VPC ECS. So it is going to create our VPC and ECS cluster. So let's wait for a minute. So that's going to create our VPC. Let's go to the terminal. So meanwhile, please subscribe to my channel and please like this video if you like it. I hope you will learn something really useful, and I hope you will use this architecture in your current projects. Yeah, let's wait for the CDK to complete. Okay, there you go. So our deployment is successful now. So we have deployed our CloudFormation stack. So now just refresh this. I think it should be completed. Okay, now let's go to VPC. Open in a new tab again. Go to the VPC. You should be able to see our VPCs. Click on the VPC. So there you go. So we have now created a production and non-production VPC environments. Okay. So now and also make sure we have our ECS cluster. Click on Elastic Container Service. So we have our non-prod and production ECS clusters. Okay, so now that we have created a basic infrastructure, so what we're going to do is you make sure you copy the VPC IDs, because we're going to use these VPC IDs when deploying our infrastructure. Okay, so make sure you copy these IDs, and then what we're going to do now is we will create a CI/CD pipeline for the microservice. Okay, so that we are discussing about that. So now let's go to the terminal and clear this out. cd // CDK pipeline. Okay, so we are in the CDK pipeline. Make sure you're in the CDK pipeline, and also make sure you run the requirements. Yeah, so make sure you run this one. CDK pipeline. We have the core library, code commit, code build, and all of the libraries that we want to have in this project. So make sure you install all of that. And yes, successfully installed all the libraries that I want for this project. So just clear this out. And now also make sure you copy the VPC IDs like I said previously. So I'm going to copy the VPC ID. I've already created this in the past. So I'm just going to copy that and put it in here. Okay, so this is my account number, CDK synth command. So this is my account number, and the region that I'm in currently is US East 1, and the context the VPC ID. So I'm going to replace the VPC ID here. Copy the VPC ID. This is the production VPC ID. So if I go to the production ID, so this is the production ID, simply replace that, and then we are going to copy our non-prod VPC ID like so. Copy that, paste it, and then Also make sure you have this S3 bucket, CI/CD starter. In my case, it is CI/CD starter. So you can see this is my bucket name. So make sure you have your own bucket name, okay? And also the context, the starter-code.zip file. This is my code where I'm going to use it. So make sure you have the starter code zip or something like that. If you want to name something else, it's totally up to you. And this is my microservice one. Like I've discussed, you can name anything for your microservice if you want. And we have the and I have the ACL for my VPC. So if you go to network ACLs, like you see here, go to your network ACL, sorry, click that. And now you have the production and non-prod. So click on, so copy the ID, the network ACL ID. Like you see here, this is for prod. And now I'm going to replace this ACL, my prod, and then also copy the non-prod ACL ID. Okay. Ditch that and paste it. All right, so that's my non-prod and prod network ACL. Okay, this is my and then this is my microservice name, and then I have VPC IDs. So now that we are ready, so just copy these the synth command, and we will go to the terminal and just paste it. Okay, so this should create our CloudFormation template that we are looking, and these are the inputs that it is going to fill the CloudFormation template with, so that we will be able to deploy our pipeline. Okay, so it knows where to pull the code from starter-code.zip, and it knows which bucket to look for. Oops. So there you go. So now it has created our CloudFormation template that we are looking for. Okay, so awesome. Now I'm going to quickly clear it out. So once you have this ready, so what you can do now is simply go ahead and okay, so let's go ahead and do the deploy command. Same like the, just to save some time, I've already copied this. So paste it. So in here, this is my account ID, context, and the VPC ID. So let's copy the VPC ID from here. This is our current VPC ID, which is our non-prod ID, like so, and also copy the prod VPC ID from here, like so. And then CI/CD starter is my bucket name, and starter code zip, my service one, and then also make sure you have your security groups like this one. I'm just going to copy the link and open my browser, and then oops, so let me go to my EC2, open this in a new tab, and go to security groups. Okay, security group ID. So make sure you create the security group ID like you see here. So we'll see what are the inbound rules in the security group. Now this allows on the port 80 because we want to run our application on port 80. So that is just the inbound rule that make sure you have this security group ready. Okay, so all right, I hope you understand. And now if you still didn't get it, then I look forward to see your comments. Make sure you comment in the comment section below. So make sure you copy the deploy command so that now we can deploy our stack. So go to the terminal, just clear this out and paste it. So make double check your details are correct, and then you hit enter. So that's going to deploy our CDK stack. So let's go to our CloudFormation once again. Go to CloudFormation, refresh. It hasn't created yet. Okay, and now just say yes. So that's going to deploy our CloudFormation. Let's refresh. Yeah, there you go. So now it is creating our CI/CD stack. So make sure you finish this process just to make sure that you deploy the stack that what we have discussed until now. So just copy the stuff. So I'm going to paste these links. I'm going to paste these commands in the description box below so that you can use it. And then, just follow the video and do it. Okay. And please don't forget to like this video, and also please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Let's wait for it, and it's going to take some time. So we'll be back once it creates the infrastructure. Okay, there you go. So now it has created our load balancers. So the stack is now deployed. So if you go back to your CloudFormation stack, just refresh this. You should be able to, yeah, there you go. Like I said, now we will check out our code commit repository, all right, and see what's going to happen here, all right. There you go. So now it has created a my service one repository, so you should be able to see the code. But I think you should be moving the files from inside the starter code to the root repository. Okay, so let's gonna do that. Let's do that. So clone HTTPS, and now go to, let's clear this out. Okay, so let's go back one step, and we are here. So I think I can remove the my service one. All right, so make sure you remove it, and if you do one more time ls and do git clone, oops. So now let's go to the code commit and copy the clone HTTPS, paste the URL, hit enter. So that's going to download the code. Okay, there you go. Now if you go to my service one, let's clear this out. I'm going to do open. So that is going to open my repository, copy all the files, paste it, and remove the starter code from here. So there you go. And now if you do git status, git add, git status, so you need to push all this files, git commit some refactor code, something like that, and do a git push. So that should push the changes that we have done. So yes, that's pushed. And now if you go to the my service and refresh this page, and there you go. So now what we have done here is we have simply in our repository, so we have simply moved code from inside a starter code to the my service, okay, to the root repository. Okay, make sure you do this step so that your application won't fail. Okay, all right. So okay, so what we're going to do now is we will open up our code pipeline, and let's see what's going on with the code pipeline. Open that in a new tab. So now, yeah, our pipeline already triggered. So now if you open up a my service one pipeline, so the code is already done. So if you view details, so your application is building, and it's going to take some time. So let's close this for a minute. And here in the pipeline, so you can see the different stages, right? So one is it is pulling the code from the AWS code commit, and it's trying to build using our build spec YAML file that we have discussed here from the code. So if you go back to the code, and if you open up this code pipeline stack, so you can see this is our build spec YAML file, which is going to create our Docker image, and then that is going to push the Docker image to our ECR registry, right? So if you go to the ECR registry somewhere here, okay, let's go to the ECR registry, and if you go to my service one, so there is no image yet, so because the pipeline is still building, so that's going to take some time. So let's wait for it to complete, and then you will see the images start appearing here, and then we will deploy our images into the ECS cluster. Okay, so let's wait for it. Let's wait for the build to complete. Okay, so there you go. Now it started building. This is my repository. So it has created our image and pushed the image into our ECR registry, and now you can also see the artifacts are already being uploaded. Just succeeded, click on done. So I think build step is done. So you can see the deployed non-prod step is in progress. So if you wait for a minute, so that's going to deploy to our ECS Fargate. Okay, so let's wait for the deploy non-prod step to complete. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Please also like the video, and that will motivate me to make more videos like this. So make sure you hit that like button. Let's wait for the deployment to the non-prod. Okay, there you go. So now the deployment is completed. So if you go to the ECS, like you see, or maybe you can click the details, so you can see the status is succeeded. Okay, let's close this and go to the ECS. We should be able to see that the services are being deployed. So there you go. So if you click on tasks, our tasks should be running. Okay, looks like our tasks are running, which is amazing. And now go to the configuration and networking. So you should be able to see the URL for the DNS name. So click on the open address here. So you should be able to see our application. Okay. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, that's it. So we have now deployed our application here, but I think we have deployed as, okay, let me go to the code commit. I think I've already opened it somewhere. Is this the one? No. Information. Maybe let's go to the code commit. Yeah. So there you go. So now if you click on index.js, something is wrong with the, yeah. So that's the reason why I see hello world there. Now just make sure you just change. So let's trigger the pipeline again. Okay, so I've made this change. Update message and just click on code commit. Commit the changes. So you have committed the changes. All right. So if you go back to the pipeline here, and if you do a refresh, so there you go. So now it is actually pulling the latest code. Now it's actually pulling the latest code. Let's wait for the pipeline to finish. Okay. So that's going to take some time. So it has checked out the latest code changes and now the build has started. So again, we're gonna wait for some time to make sure that build is completed. Okay, now that's it finished building and now it is trying to deploy the latest version of our code. Let's wait for the non-prod deployment. So there you go. Now that we have deployed our application to our non-production environment, so go ahead and open that URL once again and refresh the page. So there you go. So now our application has deployed, the latest application has been deployed successfully onto our application. So that's what we have tried to deploy into our VPC non-production. We have our load balancer, which is working, and also our couple of services are running, and we have set up our code commit, which is pushing our image to ECR and then ultimately into the ECS cluster. Okay, so now that we have finished our non-production deployments for any QA and testing, so what we can do now is for production users. So what I'm going to do, go to the your pipeline, so you can see the production deployment stage where you have approved production deployment. So if you remember, so we have our release manager who needs to approve our pipeline, right? So I'm going to review it as a release manager and I'm going to approve it. Okay, I'm going to make some comment and submit it. So once you have submitted, so our deployment will start running. So things might take some time. So I'm just going to refresh the page. So that's in progress. So we've already approved it. So that is in progress. So let's wait for this to complete and we will also open up our production version of the application. Okay, so let's wait for it. So there you go. Finally, we have deployed our application to the production. So if you click on view details, so you should be able to see in ECS. So let's go to the ECS and production environment. So that's my load balancer. Go to tasks. We should see 2 tasks running. Yeah, that's great. Now if you go to deployments, the deployment status is completed. Go to configuration and networking. So if you copy the URL from here, which is our production environment URL, so this is our non-prod. So I'm going to open a new tab to the right, paste it. Let's wait for a minute. There you go. So now that we have successfully deployed our application to the production as well, so I hope you learned something and make sure you understand this architecture correctly and make sure you know how to use AWS CDK so that you should be able to deploy this application and you can check out the code from here. I'll paste the link in the description box below. And don't forget to leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure you also destroy the stack if you don't use it, right? So if you're not using it, just make sure you destroy the complete stack. So how do you destroy it? So it's pretty simple. Open the code that I have given you. Just open the code and paste it, and make sure you to destroy, and copy this and go to your terminal and paste it. Okay, so in this way you can destroy your infrastructure. Okay, and also make sure you have destroyed the CI/CD VPC ECS as well, not just your ECS Fargate, and not just your running application. Okay, so make sure you delete everything. Okay, so if you're not using it, otherwise there is pricing related to it. So make sure if you want to run this demo, so there is some price involved in it. So if you are in a free trial account, just make sure with the pricing. Okay, so all right, thank you so much, and I hope you like this video, and thank you so much. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.